I'm no me. You're the same Tanuki, but I've been low key.
Ethan, turn it off. Ethan, what are you doing? Ethan, I told you we're not doing this bullshit white guy cringe rap stuff. You know, did you not remember? We went over this. It's not okay with me.
But I thought I submitted this for approval to the ICF Foundation Council like weeks ago.
I nixed that early on. Don't you remember we were going to do this? Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be validators.
Music. Are you kidding me? No, I don't remember agreeing to that. That is like the anti-rap, Billy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but you're right. It's weird. I don't actually remember a lot. We practiced this all week, but what was the outcome?
I don't know. I don't know why we don't remember anything. Like, what's the last thing you remember?
Last thing I remember must be back in 2019. That's right. 'Twas the night before Cosmos launch, and all through the land, not a blockchain was scaling. None had a real plan. The sharding was broke by data unavailed, and all hope for plasma had vanished in the air.
That's right. The tokens were nestled all down in the red, while visions of being money just danced through their heads. And Bitcoin in her outputs and ETH in her accounts, everyone was down for that crypto winter count.
When out on GitHub, there arose a genesis, a new kind of network with a proof of stake thesis. The Cosmos held blockchain, a decentralized launch, and atoms for staking emerged with a punch.
These chains are the best, and everyone knows. Interoperable future with a sovereign glow. But what happened this year? Somebody did scream. A thriving community led by 7 dev teams.
Now a massive upgrade. The features look great. I knew in a moment it must be Stargate. Prepared for us all by the IDC game. Let's whistle and shout and call them by name.
Now Interchain informal occlusion.
On Tendermint, Confio, Agoric, and Region.
Run the test nets, finish the code.
All that's left is for governance to propose.
Wow, that's right, Billy. Starting to come back to me. I can't believe how far this ecosystem has come over the last couple years. And there's so much around the corner.
It's crazy. It's all coming back to me as well. And as well, I remember we weren't going to wrap. We were going to unwrap the presents we sent to each other.
Oh, that's what all these gifts are. No wonder. I sent you a gift. This is great.
Well, you want to go first?
Yeah, I would love to. Let's see what we got here. This looks like a pretty nice one. Got some nice paper, wrapping paper. All right, let's get this out of here. Let's see what we got. Tent pegs. A bunch of tent pegs. Billy, is this Peggy? Are you getting me Peggy for the holidays?
That's right.
Cosmos? So I can send ETH and ERC20 tokens over?
That's right. That's right.
That's amazing. I'm so excited for that. Billy, haven't you been hacking on Peggy for like a couple years now? What's the story there? Where did that all get started?
It's funny. Peggy has a long history. I actually joined the whole project in some ways when I participated in Hackatom 2 back in 2017. And the same Hackatom, I was viciously beaten by June, who eventually joined the team as well. And June made the first version of Peggy. Peggy then chilled for a while inside the Cosmos org. And then it was a little bit later that Swish Labs came and picked it up and did 2 really big service agreements that were great. They pushed this amazing version of Peggy forward. That was Aidan Musniski and Jazir, who's actually speaking later today about how they're using Peggy with SifChain. And this year we've seen Althea also build a real sort of production-ready path for Peggy. I don't know, it's really, really exciting, but it's funny. I actually used the Swish Labs version back in, must have been one of the Februaries during an ETH Denver. And if you remember that, we'd set it up where there were all these bounties on Ethereum. And I sent the bounties actually to a burner chain over Peggy. And on the burner chain, there was the scavenger module, which if you remember, it's this one that you basically lock up tokens with an encrypted password. And so it's kind of like a scavenger hunt game. So all of these participants had to go through the docs and like look in the source code and like solve all these riddles. And then when they finally found the answer, they submitted it to the burner chain and they were able to send the tokens back to mainnet Ethereum and have the money.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's cool. The case of a blockchain I've heard of to date.
Obviously. Well, let me go now. Okay, so it's my turn. What do we got here? A TI-83? Oh my God, what? Does that mean I'm getting virtual machines for the holidays? Oh, that's amazing. So I'm gonna get like what? Cosmosm? Am I gonna get JavaScript, secure JavaScript with Agoric? Am I gonna get Ethermint? That means that I can all my...
We are so generous this year. All these virtual machines with as much power as a TI-83 coming to one near you.
Cannot wait. But you know, there's kind of a funny history with Ethermint, especially in this project, right? There was a very early version of the whole Cosmos idea, or let's say it all started with a version of the EVM using Tendermint, right?
Yes, something like that. I mean, you know, Jay started building Tendermint in early 2014. It was the first real proof of stake based cryptocurrency. It was very simple at the time, just a simple proof of stake currency. And in the fall of 2014, I started working at Monax Industries. Now, at the time, they were known as Eris. And you know, we were building on a fork of Go Ethereum. We were trying to bring Ethereum into the enterprise, and you know, we knew we needed a better consensus than proof of work. No one was going to go for that crap. And sometime that fall, I learned about Tendermint. I heard about it on a podcast, and I was like, you know, this seems like really good stuff. You know, it's based on sound academic consensus history, business fault tolerant research, and so on. And so in early 2015, I started working very closely with Jay. We were hanging out at the so-called Proof of Stake Palace in San Francisco, hacking on Tendermint, trying to make it useful. And rather than continue forking Go Ethereum, we decided, you know what, let's re-implement the EVM from scratch as part of this Tendermint thing. So we'd have this Proof of Stake cryptocurrency, and it would also have the Ethereum virtual machine built in. And that's what we did. And that product, which was still called Tendermint at the time, ended up being one of the easier ways for people to get started actually building on Ethereum, because Ethereum was so unusable at the time. You know, Solidity was like just starting out, and people were writing in much lower level languages. We built some of those very early dev tools that help people get started. And so, you know, over the course of that year, over 2015, you know, we started to notice this tension between the demands of the EVM and the application on the one hand, and the desire to keep Tendermint to be this kind of simple, robust consensus engine, which ultimately led to breaking out all the application concerns outside of Tendermint and the introduction of what's now known as the ABCI. And so that EVM that we implemented back in 2015, it's evolved quite a bit. It's actually now living on as Hyperledger Burrow. So it continues to live as an EVM project running on Tendermint, and actually got accepted into the Hyperledger ecosystem. And then, you know, we were working on other stuff, and late in 2016, and now we have this ABCI thing, this guy, Kobe Gherkin, shows up, and just out of nowhere, he had built a prototype taking the Go Ethereum code base and running it as an ABCI app on top of Tendermint. We were kind of blown away, like, hey, you can actually do this. You can use Go Ethereum as a library and run it on top of ABCI, and that was super powerful. And then, you know, in early 2017, you know, we had just raised money for Cosmos, and a few guys like Adrian Brink and others working at All in Bits at the time. They picked up that project and kept maintaining it. But, you know, we got distracted for a while. We started building like the cosmos-sdk. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a pretty cool thing. And so, you know, we put this whole Ethermint thing on the back burner for a bit. And then around 2018, the ICF got a contract going with Alexei Akunov, the guy behind TurboGeth, to actually, now that we had, you know, a prototype Cosmos SDK, to get the Ethermint, the Go Ethereum libraries running as part of the Cosmos SDK. That was kind of always the idea, right? That we could have this Cosmos SDK, this framework for building blockchains, and the EVM would be like a module in there. And so Alexei did a lot of really great work. He actually did a ton of research on Merkle trees at the time, and you know, continued to improve TurboGeth. But he got very busy with TurboGeth, which is now, you know, one of the prominent ways Ethereum is going to figure out how to scale itself. So, you know, thank the heavens for Alexei. And a few other folks picked up on maintaining things. But it sort of sat dormant for a while again. And then in 2019, you know, I went to Detroit with a few friends, including Aiden from ChainSafe, and we went to the Radical Exchange conference. And, you know, Aiden and I were hanging out, we were talking, and Aiden was like, dude, when is Ethermint gonna happen? I've been hearing about it for years. Like, what's going on there? And I was like, well, Aiden, when are you gonna build it for us? And he was like, you know, I think we can do that. And so, you know, Ariane and I had just sort of kickstarted the new grant program at the ICF, and ChainSafe applied, and they've been funded to build Ethermint. And, you know, here we are in 2020, and it's nearing completion. It's almost ready to go. They've been battle testing it. It's fully Web3 compatible. You can take your Ethereum apps without almost any changes and run them on a proof of stake backend, with the robustness and power of Tendermint and the Cosmos SDK. And we're looking forward to an Ethermint chain launch, hopefully sometime in 2021.
Yeah, the testnet's running right now. You can go to ethermint.chainsafe.io and get some tokens from the faucet. Just plug it straight into MetaMask. It's like running. It's working. It's amazing.
That is super.
It's funny, the version of Ethermint you mentioned from 2017 that languished for a bit, that was the Ethermint that I used in the Cosmos Hack Atom 2. I did that really sort of nefarious Ethereum developer thing when they're on a Hack Atom project. They're like, cool, here's my blockchain project. It's actually just an Ethereum app, but it uses Ethermint, so that makes it qualify.
It's on either. See, that's the great thing about Cosmos. We just subsume every other ecosystem.
I know. I felt like I was getting away with something, but I ended up working for you guys for like 3 years.
It's a Trojan horse, right? All right, very good. Well, I think it's my turn. Yeah, right. All right, let's see what we got. Got a nice one under my little house plant here. All right, let's see. What do we got here? We've got, what is this? Rope, leather cuffs, Billy. Is this bondage? Really, I don't know if now is the time for bondage. Am I getting bonding curves for the holidays? Automated market makers and bonding curves on the Cosmos Hub? That is amazing. Oh, I am so excited about that. Billy, you have a lot of experience with bondage. With bonding curves. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been experimenting with bonding curves for a long time. It's been a pretty long and kinky, winding road. But we've had a lot of really cool developments on different automatic market makers and bonding curves this year. Earlier, we saw the release from IXO and SimplyDC of Alpha Bonds at alphabonds.org. If you haven't seen that, please take a look. It's amazing. It has both constant product market makers like Uniswap, as well as like continuous slope bonding curves, so you can issue a new token that way. What's really cool is that they're actually combined on the Alpha Bonds one. So the collateral pool for every like normal bonding curve has Uniswap capabilities where you can trade against the tokens. It's really nice. And also there's been a lot of cool work from bharvest in coordination with Tendermint on an automatic market maker for the Cosmos Hub. So we'll have a kind of more advanced version of Uniswap on there. It has some really cool features for sort of adequately pricing things. And both of those projects have batch transactions, which is something very exciting to me. Batch transactions means that there's not going to be front running, which is a sort of like constant problem with these, minor extractable value. There's a couple talks today actually about minor extractable value from Dev and Sunny, and I think there's a panel on it at the very end. You guys should definitely keep an eye out. But yeah, I mean, I've been excited about all this bonding curve stuff forever. It was that project Clover's Network that I made for the Hack Atom that I then sort of started doing that like tour of hackathons to learn more. And every one, I think I built like a bonding curve project. The first one was in Cape Town, actually, where I finally got to meet Simon de la Rouvier, who's famous for really spreading the gospel on what's possible with bonding curves. We made sort of like a Patreon project called Pool. I think it's actually still online because blockchains don't die. Pool.ac, if you want to look in that, it's really nice. We could only figure out how to do constant slope. So it's not like a exponential or anything like that. And I don't think we had access to like even the earliest Bancor contracts at that time. And it became barely apparent how hard it is to program advanced logic inside of Solidity or expect to execute it inside of a single block. Yeah. And then, there was, of course, ETH Berlin hackathon with, I worked with Slava Balazanov, who's the founder of Relevant, who's now working on off-chain workers for the Cosmos SDK while they port, and we built meme lords. So I hope to see a rebirth of meme lords from some anonymous community member sometime in the future, who knows when. But it also, led me to learn about CAD, the modeling software from Block Science. So they've done a lot of work on this really amazing Python framework for doing simulations of different data economies, token economies. And this year they've worked a lot with IXO to model the impact bonds. That work is nearing completion. You'll be able to see a lot of that. And hopefully that gives sort of like a fully thorough, like okay, there's intro sort of docs on how do you model your like toy stuff, but like this is a pretty advanced use case, and it really takes you through every step of modeling like a really complex system. So I think that work's gonna be really valuable. Yeah, so there's all this sort of stuff coming up. And what I'm really excited about as well is once IBC is live, launching a chain and seeing chains launch that have bonding curves on them. And then they just do like token sales via IBC. So you like start with a single validator. People can move atoms over the IBC and they can start buying the staking token directly on that chain and start distributing the responsibility of validation, start growing the validator community from one, a way to sort of scale that, and also raise funds. You know, that money can go directly in the community pool. So it like you start a chain as a DAO, you decentralize the funding process. It's really cool. There's so much that becomes possible there.
That's awesome. Yeah, you know, I wasted a lot of time playing around with clovers and searching for some nice artwork. I think I found a few good ones, but
still online, guys. Clovers.network.
Not really sure about the tax implications of my clovers, so I don't know if I can write off the work my CPU was doing or how. But you know, I'm excited that you know, we're gonna have hopefully in Cosmos it'll be not, the mempool won't be very much a dark forest. It'll be something like a light forest, I guess, or you know, we won't have all this minor extractable value. Yeah, like you said, there's going to be some good talks talking about how we're going to address those problems. There's also, I mean, there's a lot of cool work happening with bonding curves, especially you know, these community inclusion currencies that they're using as like you know, mutual credit systems that use these bonding curves to enable trade between small businesses, essentially, in underbanked communities, which is really exciting, seeing this technology actually start to be used in the real world. So yeah. Hopefully Cosmos opens up a whole new world for experimentation and development, since people won't be locked into Solidity.
Keep an eye out for updates for that kind of work from Hong Kong. We're working with this program IDCC. They have partnerships with all these small community projects that do time banks. Time banks to date, all of these places across China, they're using like physical tokens, and they have these like paper ledgers with like minuscule writing, just like hundreds of lines. It's insane. And so they're digitizing all of it, and they're digitizing it as cosmos-sdk blockchain. So we're really excited to see that work come about.
That's pretty cool.
But it's my turn, right? I get to open another present. What do we got? Oh, this one's weird and mushy. It smells. Oh my God. Are you serious? Sausages?
Yeah. Sausages.
Sent me I'm in Germany, you know, you sent me sausages from another country.
Sausages from Canada, yeah, that's right.
So they're still good, right? Why did you send me sausages?
You could eat them.
So sausages, okay. Sausages are gross. They're kind of like liquid meat.
There you go.
Liquid meat. Liquid steak. Liquid staking. You're gonna get me staking derivatives for the holidays?
That's right. Staking derivatives are coming to Cosmos.
You're kind of terrified of that stuff, right? Tell me more about staking derivatives.
I'm a little terrified. You know, so let's see. We've got these atoms. They're this staking token. You know, they get bonded on chain. We have this whole security model that's like, if someone misbehaves, they're going to lose money. Their delegators are going to lose money. We're gonna slash them, and it's nice and simple, right? But I mean, people look at this and they're like, well, there's so much. I mean, there's like, you know, 170 million atoms locked up. That's many hundreds of millions of dollars worth of capital that's just sitting there. And you got these finance people looking at that and they're like, oh, well, you know, that's quite inefficient use of capital for the transactions per second that are going through just like reclaiming rewards and whatever, right? So, I mean, obviously, once there's more activity, we expect that capital to be actually securing a lot more. But part of the problem is, you know, you can't move those atoms that are staked. They're stuck for at a minimum 3 weeks if you want to take them back and trade them or cash them out or whatever, or manage your risk. It's difficult. It's not something you can really do on chain right now. And so part of the challenge is there are these off-chain, so-called off-chain solutions that are cropping up primarily on exchanges, right? Where you have your atoms on an exchange like Binance or Coinbase, you can stake them and you can earn the rewards, but they let you actually still trade them. So you're not subject to the unbonding period. And this is, you know, at some level a bit of a threat, because, you know, if I'm a retail user holding atoms, you know, I could either lock them up on chain and not be able to move them for 3 weeks, or I can lock them up on Coinbase and still be able to trade them, right? So it's a very strong centralizing pressure on the exchanges. And, you know, while we can't ever prevent people from doing off-chain contracts and off-chain mechanisms, what we can do is try to provide more functionality on chain to facilitate this, right? And so the idea of staking derivatives is that even though you have your atoms staked, you can actually create a derivative of those staked atoms that are derived from the underlying value of the atoms, but are then still transferable, right? And there's a lot of ways you can do this. There's a pretty big design space, and the folks over at Bee Harvest and Occlusion have been working on designing what this would look like. And of course, this could open tons of opportunity for very interesting financial products to be built out and around the atoms, and especially the staked atoms. And I think the challenge for me is we don't quite know, really how to think about that, how to model that, what kind of impact it's going to have on the security of the system. What happens if all these staking derivatives move off chain, and now you have a ton of value derived from atoms sitting on some other zone, and it's not as secure as the hub. It just opens a lot of questions. So on the one hand, it's kind of critical that we do this because we need to provide this functionality on chain so that we don't have all these people just flocking to bond on the exchanges and have the exchanges become dominating the validator set. But on the other, we need to be careful about how we roll this out and use tools like CAD, like you were talking about, to really try to understand the implications of the design and what kind of impact that might have on the network. So very interesting space. It'll be a very interesting primitive for doing DeFi on Cosmos and using the staking derivatives. But I just caution that we ought to be careful about all this crazy financial mayhem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of excited to see all of the Ethereum degens freak out when they realize what's possible with like staking as a DeFi primitive, and then when you add staking derivatives to it, like brains will explode.
Cosmos is rapidly going to be a hub for DeFi.
I hope people are careful. Great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's your turn to unwrap, right?
My turn. Yeah. Okay. I got last gift here. This is a big one. Wow. Look at this. Got me something. I'm not really sure. Let's see here. What do we got? We got a wallet. This is a duct tape wallet. Oh, this is pretty nice, Billy. This is great. What are there keys in here? Inside the wallet, Billy. Nobody keeps their keys inside their wallet. It doesn't make any. Billy, are you? Is this some kind of commentary on the state of wallets and key management in crypto?
Yeah, it just might be. I mean, this one doesn't need too much thought. It is literally a wallet. But you're right. It's really weird that we're talking about wallets, that we're talking about keys. I mean, that wallet looks a little homemade. I'm sure that it's high quality.
It looks very good.
Inventor was probably some sort of a genius.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for the sort of evolving wallet landscape. This year, we've seen Kepler really sort of take a huge developments in the browser extension, and I've been working really closely with them, trying to coordinate between projects like Wallet Connect and Cosmos.js to sort of make sure that there's a really sort of strong backbone for all of these client-side projects to exist. And I'm actually really excited about thinking in the long term about wallets, where they go. I feel like so much of the capabilities today are sort of like very reactions to exactly what the problems we've created for ourselves with blockchains. And I think that if we sort of zoom out, we can sort of start building towards a future that really makes sense. That's good user experience that doesn't sacrifice security. And I expect that that's going to be a real sort of separation of the key management from the application, which will leave the wallet to do sort of the coordinating between those two sides. And I think it'll deliver a much better experience. The other parts that I'm really excited around that is Interchain accounts. Sorry?
You're saying that even though this wallet is very high quality, well made, and robust enough to keep my keys in it, that it's actually not a good idea to keep your keys inside your wallet. You want to keep them in a separate pocket, and you got your wallet, you got your keys, and you keep them separated. Is that right?
I mean, when I'm done, you'll know there is no spoon. There won't be. You won't even realize they're keys, hopefully. But yeah, we've seen a lot of cool stuff around wallets and user experience stuff. The talk around interchain accounts from Josh, Chainapsis, Dojmos, I'm really excited about. I think interchain accounts are a potential game changer for how we think about interacting across blockchains and how we interact with applications themselves. And the object capabilities that we sort of see inside of snaps for MetaMask, I think that work from Agoric especially is actually can be applied in a much broader sense than it's currently being utilized inside of MetaMask. I think that we could apply it on both sides of that wallet. So it's not the wallet responsible for the keys, but we have these, actually certified key services, whether they're custodial or not. Like that's the only thing that they're in charge of doing. They shouldn't be building your application interface. Let's separate those things and then use these object capability communication standards to communicate between them, like Wallet Connect, but with authorization or something like that. So really excited to see that stuff come about. You should check out the talks from Wallet Connect, Pedro, and I think there's some talks from Confio. I don't know if it's about Cosm.js, but there's also Looney Lite, which is, I think, a really exciting sort of, portable wallet interface, forkable. You can make a lot of things out of it, but there's a lot of cool stuff happening. But I think that's all of the presents I have here that's all the presents I sent you at least.
I do. I have a card here. Did you send me this card? It says "To Bucky with love."
No, but actually, you're right. I have a card too. You didn't send this?
No, I didn't send you a card.
Oh, weird. Should we open them?
Yeah, I guess so. It's pretty nice. Someone put some serious effort into this. Let's see. Inside.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Oh my goodness. Is it? It's a picture of Christopher Ghost.
Oh my gosh. Does that mean that we're getting IBC?
IBC?
For the holidays?
We're getting IBC!
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm so excited to play with IBC. The first thing I'm going to do is the dumbest thing I possibly can. I've been talking about this a lot, but I want to take an atom. And because IBC is so flexible, you can actually make two different connections between the same two chains. So you could send an atom through one connection and then send it back through a different connection, which means you can do it again through that first connection and just keep wrapping the atom with a longer and longer IBC path, which is like putting a rubber band around a rubber band ball. And I'm going to do it so many times that it's going to become like this rubber band ball that's too big to even bounce. It's going to be like the first non-fungible atom in the most extreme sense.
That is vicious, Billy. That is very, very malicious. Probably the first thing I'm going to do is spend my time trying to unwrap your heavily wrapped rubber band atom. We got this great IBC protocol launched, and all we can do is troll each other with it. But
foiled. But it's really great that we all have access to this IBC. We don't have to be precious about sharing it. Every network can have it, really. In fact, actually, I'd like everyone in the audience right now to reach under your chairs and feel around. You see what we left there for you? Do you find it? That's right. You are all getting IBC. You get IBC.
And 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 you get IBC.
You're all getting IBC.
Everyone's getting IBC for the holidays. Yeah. And listen, look, if you didn't find it under your chair already, just sit tight. It should be there in about, 2 months.
And what else is coming soon? Really soon, like right now, like starting as soon as this talk stops, is going to be 2 days of brilliant talks from some of the brightest stars across the ecosystem. I'm excited about a lot of talks. There's too many to list all of them, but definitely check out all the talks about 1.0 releases. Tess is going to talk about the Tendermint 1.0 right after this. Aaron is going to talk about the Cosmos-sdk 1.0.
Very exciting. This software's been around for a long time, and it's been running in production, and the releases still exclaim, hey, this is beta. Dragon's here. But 1.0s are coming. It's very exciting stuff.
Yeah, there's some 2.0s as well. Like I mentioned, Pedro's going to talk about Wallet Connect 2.0. Dave is going to talk about ABCI 2.0. And Sika's going to talk about threshold encryption transactions.
ABCI 2.0. We haven't even hit ABCI 1.0. Maybe let's not get ahead of ourselves here, all right?
Yeah. I'm excited about Charlie Noy's talk about from Paradigm about the sort of thesis for Cosmos and interoperability.
Yeah.
There's also just a lot of, fun people in general who always give great talks. Rick Dudley, Zaki, James Presswich, Matt Bell, and Judd Kepler are going to talk about Bitcoin on Cosmos.
Didn't those two get TikTok famous recently?
I think so, yeah. I'm excited to hear updates from Ryan King about Foam, Sean Conway, the Internet of Impact. Actually, there's just so many to list. I can't.
This is great. Yeah, there's going to be lots of members of the Informal Systems team here talking about different things spanning correctness and coordination in distributed systems and organizations. The bridges to Ethereum and Cello. We've got lots of great talks on privacy coming from Nim, and Henry's here talking about the Ed 25519 issues. We got the Agoric team talking about their virtual machine and platform. Lots of talks on DeFi on Cosmos. So much great stuff.
Yeah, Zaki's Atom 2021 initiative, and the panel at the end with Chris Goes and Chango, Dave and Sunny, I'm really excited about. But we want to give a shout out to everyone who's prepared talks for this event, everyone who's here to watch them, everyone who's watching the recordings in the future. Dare I say, a future where you've all received your IBC already.
Oh.
And especially to everyone who put in the time and effort organizing this event, especially Shenju, Dystopia Labs, big shout out. Everyone from an Interchain, Informal, Tendermint that helped herd the cats too.
So spread the good word. These 2 days off work.
We know it's the weekend. We don't mean to be jerks.
And while alas, we are all remote,
We gather and cheer to celebrate Cosmos.
crypto spring in the air, though for many it's winter.
At this wonderful conference, many great presenters.
Hear them exclaim, they all walk the walk,
Happy Stargate to all.
and enjoy all the talks.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks very much.
Everyone.